Hello and welcome to another episode of Manipur Rockers, and today we bring you a very special music band from our state, Manipur, who has revolutionized Manipur music in a different level. Thindaba leitna guest sing asi miyamda saktakchage aigi hek nakanda lengshin biriba aikoigi guest asigi mingna Kamal Singh. He is the producer of Ereimang, and mathangda lengshin birisna aikoigi Lai Pubam Gajendra. He is a guitarist of Ereimang music. Amasung aroibda lengshin biribasna aikoigi Haishnam Santanu. He is the manager and production of Ereimang. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
I would like to start the conversation from you, Mr. Kamal. So, can you please tell me how you started this venture of Ereimang music, and then where have you got this inspiration to start this kind of
Yeah.
project? Like, tell us about it.
I think I don't remember exactly when, but it was definitely so. I was born. I was born in Bangalore, and then so essentially I'm mixed. My dad is from Manipur, from Sagang. You heard of this place, Sagang?
Yeah, yeah.
So he was from there, and was because he passed away. My mum is from the south. She's again mixed like Kerala and Tamil Nadu. But in the late 70s, I think, she had this thing of, I don't know, some fascination to come, and she was teaching in Sagang in one of the schools there. She was very young. And then obviously they met and things happened and whatever. So I lived in Manipur for a long time. Very familiar with this, the Maibi and these kind of things because it was very prominent in our house. My grandmother was involved, my great grandfather was involved in these kind of things. There was this at that time I didn't know much about it, so it was a lot of fear. But as I grew up, it became like this fascinating thing that I want to revisit. No? And then I got I've been doing music for a long time, and so this idea of using penna was the starting place. But I remember at that time, like, it was not like the way it is now. I don't remember which year, but you couldn't find penna players or anything like that. They were very hard to come across, and I think it was an instrument that was getting forgotten. So it was hard, me living in Bangalore and then trying to figure this out. But I wanted to start, I don't know what it was, I just don't know what is going to happen, but I thought I'll start from there, getting the penna involved. It didn't work out, I went back. Then couple of years later, again I came back for Wilderness Festival, and I was staying with some friends in the Hodam Lerak. I was staying there, and then I met this kid, Thoichanba, who now sings, that Kwaktaram Jail video.
Yeah, yeah.
He was what, 12 years old, or maybe even maybe 8 or 9. I don't know. He was a kid. So my friend Hemchandra, who we studied together in school, he was my senior. He's like, there's this kid, why don't you see what he does? He came, and when he started singing, it was like, wow, this guy is really talented. So I recorded. Kwaktalam Jail was the first one I recorded. Just him playing to a click track with the penna. Recorded in one room, one mic, both penna, vocals, everything. Then I think then it became clearer, okay, I think this is happening. This is finally taking shape, and yeah, like that. And then it just keeps growing, keeps growing, keeps growing. It's taking a bigger shape now. I don't know whether that's even a right expression, but it's taking shape. And yeah, that's kind of the vague story. Me just trying to revisit this space that I felt I belonged to in some ways, even though it was not necessarily true. When you're so mixed up like this, you don't really feel you belong anywhere. But somehow I had this fascination about Manipur, and
Okay, because that's in your blood also.
yeah, yeah.
And thank you so much for revisiting place, because without you revisiting this place, we wouldn't have get this kind of a new genre of music, which is a mix of the Western and all this kind of folk music,
Yeah.
which is, we never thought that this kind of genre of music will be coming out. But then now you have experimented it and you have shown us to us, then like it mixed so harmoniously together,
Yeah.
and then it's so fascinating to listen to this kind of
Yes.
song. And then I hope that you created more of this kind of music.
intention is to keep going and to build it, stronger and stronger and stronger. Also, I think like this, what I was exposed to was, like I told you, this whole ideology of, right, the voice. So that style of singing, even though I didn't know what it was, I was too young. I still have that, in my head. It was always there that, the way the Maibis sing. No, there's a very peculiar style, right? And even though I did not know what it was, that sound was always in my head, and I was like, somewhere I'm going to find a way to bring that in, and with the kind of music I listen to. And I told you, right, there was a lot of fear with this, but there's also a lot of mystery, there's a lot of appreciation, and obviously if I was just afraid, then I wouldn't want to, enter this space again. But it also is very, like, luring, no? It's very interesting, very mysterious, very beautiful, scary also. Memories that are based in that is also not always like, so all this together, I think it's very important to get it all together and not just focus on beauty and, like, very, like, those kind of things. It can also be beyond that, and everything is part of it. The fear is also part of it, and I think that's what I'm trying to go for.
And you're doing it very nicely. Thank you so much for that. Oh, Santanu da mung lakchage. Santanu da gi aina mung hangjaning base Santanu matau karam tau na haidare ga adagi Kamal adagi Gajendro yar ba tong ba Ereimang music haragadi amna chawgre haidare sigi families haidare kamai torakanda keep in touch laineraki amasung Santanu gi contributions. Of course, I know that you have a lot of contributions in this project haidare ga, but we want to know more from you. Adagi matanda sa haidare.
So I think before even the name Ereimang came in the picture, when like Kamal Sai Thochanba recording Tauraga, so I have been keeping in touch with him a little before that phase.
I think you were one of the first few people who heard the recordings, including Gajendra, like in a car, like a very rough mix. Yeah.
Then so festival Wilderness Festival and annually so Kamal gi, like his music, no, I've been very interested. Like I had no idea who this guy is. I was trying to find it. Then like again, like somehow everything fell in place. I was asking a friend. He said, "Oh, this guy, he's coming to Manipur around the same time we are doing the festival." I'm like, wow. Then I called him. I got his number. I called him, and yeah, that's how we started talking. Then again, like music, once you connect to someone with music, it's a different connection. Then his idea of this project was very exciting for me, and whatever the sound that he creates or in his other projects also, it's exciting. For me, it's I'm not a musician, but I'm very interested for anything new, anything that comes out by mixing two different ends. It could be in politics, it could be to do with design, anything, material, and you create something which is a very different meaning. So whatever the project and ideas he had, it was interesting. Then we kept talking. Sometimes we just call each other for nothing, just to like what's going on. So that kept on going, and now that Ereimang got shaped, then things were like getting serious. So we continued the conversation, and then it came here where we are. And my role as a I don't know, I'm not a musician as such, but then because I've been around, I've done some events, and we have been discussing how to take things to the next level. So after reaching a certain point, what is our next step? So we keep discussing all this. So maybe that's how I kind of fell into this.
Actually, his role is like the most important part of these kind of things, right? The stuff that happens at the back, without which it cannot move. So like he's there to take care of those kind of things. He's done enough things and seen enough things to make that movement happen. And even without talking about it like that, I guess maybe this is the first time we're even addressing it like that. But yeah, so he's like taking that role, managing production, like organizing, planning the next step, seeing where we can take it, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Directions.
Personally, I feel like a project like this needs to be like really well taken care of, and make sure that it's not getting lost anywhere. This is very precious. Personally, for me, I find this project very precious, and I would like to see it bloom and even better and reach wider audience and yeah, wherever.
Like it's finally visible to also like the Rollings. Yeah, the Rolling Stone, they have already given the reviews, and I have seen many reviews from outside of Manipur also. I thought that this kind of music is going to be confined inside only in Manipur.
Yeah,
but then
exactly.
now that when I see all this kind of reviews, I was so fascinated about it. And sometimes, a Meitei part of me feels very proud that
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
kind of a music, which is only confined to what we call Laibung, and then what we call the shrine of the Meitei shrines, only confined to that kind of places, like going places, and then people are recognizing this kind of music, and this makes us feel so proud. That's the main reason why I really want to talk to the team also, and finally it's happening right now. So thank you so much once again. And then like moving on to Santanu, like I have known Santanu from a very long time, right? Like I have seen all his installations, understand. Off camera, I have told you that understanding Santanu is very difficult. He's like his hands is everywhere. Like some in theater, some in architecture, some in arts, music. Like he's everywhere. And then
Business.
Yeah, business also. Yeah, let's not forget about the business. And then recently his this one marriage photos went viral also. Like a cute couple. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, in Instagram, like he's everywhere. And then I was like, oh, Santanu is also there. Though. It's very nice. So I just want to come to Gajendra once again. Gajendra, you have been the faculty members of the Northeast Schools of Music and Arts, and then you have been associating with different genres of music, and one of your most important genre is classical guitar. So I just want to know what is your contribution in this project of Ereimang?
For this Ereimang project, there has been not much contribution from the side of classical point of view. I have been playing rock and metal, all sorts of modern music. So I kind of incorporate those ideas and suggest ideas with him, this and that, the soundscape, the ambience, all this stuff, and then even the visuals also. Sometimes we used to talk about a lot. All these things happens for sure.
Ado Gajendra gi matang sa ina mo hangjining bisa Gajendra tongan ba have the classical music 2007 dagi sut maina classical guitar se maina tor kan dat maina tame na su takpi ko adu matung da mo have the isagi pamche ba isagi passion number kan da na have the adu gi genre da katang confined tor ga laita vida have tar tongan ba genres mayam se loina mak koina experience to we ba amaka koina have tar ko have the anoba sigi genre of music amaka say like kamal la kan dat maina puslaki ba and sigi matang sa di how was your experience?
Experience the same na di pra anova no way ko daga aina ngali ngai swane guitar ko pa swane sigi genre ja sima ambau imagine to drive ID yaptina alien no idea ne I am exciting way she say lay haidi I can't go kalude ko hamad ado ko hojikti pen moina swana ko perform ga tawdana compose ga tawdana tor ko haise pra ka gi am exciting way ba anoba aduga saklok jningai way ba mo way ba kalude id sigi folks maina lahara ubra ga sakpai sai ja ko metal element yaure pa adum sometimes can we punk rock elements hapu be sai makal myam lei ri ba khoi hujik mayam na tani ji sai ani chine ba kwakta lamjel ga hairang khoi ga adu ani do to myam lei ri ko adu da
Publish to
release ke ka kem taw ri ba tawrani ada khangani hoi hoji fawdi lei se dum music se guitar gi element se metal da khana ebo ko kano taw ri ado aduna to atai myam lei ba she tholakani have a busy excitement amole adune nuai ba ma experience an over music se khoina metal tore rock and roll tore do tore classical khonge sidi ha dagi already established tore ba yam general we ba music kanom ne discipline ne ba sigi sina mu yam na khalu do poram khaksana tholak ba suddenly hana idea am tholo thana akhoi gi ma su ha bido kai yau du no di khang de du bu dum taw we da lep to bi da ado hojik te kai yore hojik ya na mayam sin thim pam na re ado
not only Manipur
aduga sigi khoi ka na hojik ya na kan da sa khoi ne sigum ritual song ceremony da lai adu ki ta gi yam kan phan ne bong phom da sak pai sai do ta sing na du thoi na ta ba lak de ba de so lai khom ba da ga ta ho ko subconsciously ta ho ba sung ma adu hojik te kai ga si sai je thoi na sak e ba nu ngai ba da sai compose ka sai du ki ka sai gi semi structure sound khoi season ne ba sound beats ka siwa myam si yaura kan da hapsala kan kitang modernize ya ta ohan be wadi na traga su sang relevant o hamdo koi hu ki chahi je contemporary da aduna kai maram wa ga mi hu ki le ba mind je ga channel je mari le na relate to helm da doga mi do any audience kum sigi sai se culture root se da yam lai na instantly connect to ngam man sigi power isai sigi power do adu bog li yawe ngam me ha gi kano do ma ngene khangye ha ga so mi na haram bagi khang ma taw na hojik te khoi ni san tok jo thok to na realize to phong ko kano je power jam kan ba su yam noi
I think that's one of the achievement to let the people understand more about the folk music that is being forgotten makhata na mo gajendra ina hangjaning khoi gi audience common people mayams na khoi na music tana matam sida aina sum thengaja matam in my experiences I gi friend circle mar to so kai sum thengaja matam sida miyoi ani khak lei amasna like songs like as a whole do in a pull up taba ma dagi miyoi kharas na kado ga have matam sida magi your elements of music mayam do say guitar gi drum gi magi area of interest so that tawa mayam ka gyaw have release to graba isai anis have tare kwakta lam jenga adagi herang khoiga anis the diga genre contributions emphasis ayaw have tare ko sigis da mayam na tarav matam da mayam gi like in your performance particularly in guitar gi performance the review di kamai ga di bibire
review se keno ne ka tare moi da yam ne tina anova mo oi bugina kama hai tano harau hai ga akhoi na hangoi sei atopa to bu moi yam feedback fasan pi bo sigi feedback adhane pi feedback ko pi siga moi expression do tongan bo khro ui bo moi hope amma yauna kano adugi level mo su uba kre special oi sigum
yam sunungai sisu yamna achoba mai pak pa ama khakne hai tare both for the team and both for the individual level this yam achoba mai pak pa ama khakne yamna sunungai ji taza matam da and moving on with you Mr. Kamal like this kind of music you categorize this as the genre of this kind of music you categorize this as a nature core so nature core is like when we listen to this word of nature core like it's very alien to us like we want to know what kind of genre is this what kind of elements is being involved in this genre can you please enlighten us
yeah to be honest it's kind of semi-serious that word is more about the idea it's less to do with the genre now this whole genre thing is like I personally I don't like to stay in a fixed space like I'll have a lot of influences like punk a little bit of metal I think Gajendra also spoke about that it's not necessarily one style of music and I don't like playing music like that anyway I think eventually we are influenced by various different sounds that some are from here some are from the west some are from like even in the west it's like like, because I've been playing music for so long, Gajendra will also understand this. There's this American sound, there is like the European sound, there's like what did I say? Did I say American? Then there's the British like pop and all. We've kind of grown up with all this, so we know all this, and like we like all this stuff, right? And then when we start playing, it kind of naturally, if you don't subscribe to a genre, then you will eventually play something that is all over the place, right? That's what I feel, and that can be very exciting. With Ereimang, it was like that, and also going, like I said, no, coming back to the roots and like animism and nature, and you know, I don't want to get too much into that, but you know that it's most of it is based in nature, no, like the whole like huh? Yeah, exactly. So then I was thinking, okay, like, you know, when you do all this stuff and you're sending out emails to publications and stuff like that, you have to mention something because that's the way it works. You have to give like something. And then I came across this word, nature core, somewhere. It's like basically a lifestyle. It's there, but it's a very small thing. And there are all kinds of things. There's cottage core and this and that. So nature core is one of these things where people like their whole ideologies are based in staying in nature and protecting. That can include music, and if that's how it is, then this will be, it perfectly represents what Ereimang is about.
Nice. But you work with a different project before this, you know.
Yeah.
When you are in Bangalore, you work with different project. You work with different artists.
Yeah.
You know, you have produced many music. What's difference about that project and this Ereimang project? Like, what differences do you see personally?
Yeah. I think in the other projects, like, it was more about me representing myself as an artist. You know? Here it's more about like finding people and then getting them together and then creating something with them. So like, for example, focusing on Thoy Chanba, no? So the focus is on him and his penna and what he's doing, and then I slowly try to build around that and then bring it in. So you're kind of at the back, and in the front there's something else which is more important, and it's not really about the band anymore. It's about what he's playing, what's that song about, how do you keep that element without messing around too much with it. You don't want to mess around with it. You want to keep it the way it is, but also like take it to another space, maybe, no? Another space. Like even Hairang Khoi is like, with all the backlash, we haven't really touched the song per se. The song is exactly how it is. You know, the way they sing it, the lyrics, the way it falls. Like some people don't sing Mamang like I part at that point, but some people do. It's just different schools of thought, and we haven't touched that part at all. Like, because we're being really like giving it a lot of value and respect. It may not come across like that when you watch these videos. It might seem like we're doing random things, but it's not really like that. You know, there's a lot of thought that goes behind. Like, for example, just to decide what chords to use, because we're pushing it with the chords, no? Like changing chords and riffs and things like that. Like I listen to it like over 100, 300, 400 times. You're listening to the same section again and again and again, and you're like, okay, how do I push it without disturbing this? And then you come to this point where you feel like, okay, it's contributing both ways, like, you know. So that's the approach.
Really nice. Like, you know, as a layman, we only see the fruits, but then in order to make that fruit, you know, the levels of flavors that you guys have put in, it's a kind of a different level, I should say. And maybe that's the reason why, you know, these songs, they are very popular nowadays. And then, thank you so much for that also, for all the contributions also.
You keep saying thank you a lot.
I really like it because, you know, I have been listening to this kind of two songs, and then like it's really fascinates me a lot, especially when it comes to.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah, when it comes to like visualization also, not only listening also. When it comes to visualization, lots of elements of nature, you know, lots of elements of you know, traditions are there. Colors of Meiteis, colors of Manipur are there. So that fascinates me a lot. And then moving on, like I would like to talk about your first release, that is the Kwakta Lamjin. When I first listened to Kwakta Lamjin, like we constantly know that it's parts of the Moirang Kanglei Road, and it's also like it tells a story about a rest. competitions between the Kamba and then the protagonist and the antagonist of the story. But then I was really fascinated by the music. But when I listened, when I see the visuals, there is some kind of contrast. It's my personal thoughts. Okay, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's kind of a different vibes. You put off a different vibes. It's not completely related with the story that you are telling, because when this music video started, like, it started with the oracles from the Amaibi, and then after that, it all like confined to like story of Amaibi and then Amaibi dance and stuff like that. So is that intentional, like connecting with your childhood memories, or like what is it? Tell us about it.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It is not following the storyline. It is definitely not. It's not really representing the song as per se, but it was intended to do it like this because it's, like I said, like, we are also, that was the first video, no? That was the first video. And the first video, I wanted to establish a few things, which is like, there is a band that exists, and this band is doing this. The story of Khamba and the race, I don't think was going to serve that purpose. Purely for like artistic choices, that's it. So then it was like, if you see this video and if you're not in Manipur and you don't know anything about this, then check this out. This is like some cool stuff, like that. But maybe I think Shantanu and Gajendra should also get involved, because one thing I want to mention, Gajendra was one of the first guys I played this song to. Once I got the drum parts and the guitar riffs in place, right? I remember, I don't think he'll remember this, but you remember back in the...
we met in
Yeah,
airport.
it was in December and I had come for this wilderness. I finished this thing, I recorded this, like, you should see the place where we recorded it. It's just a room. Then I showed him the thing, and then I showed, before I showed him, he told me one night, we are on the streets near Kangla.
Saturday Night Live.
I was like kind of shocked, okay, because my idea of Manipur is like, you can't do this kind of things, you know. And these guys are like, hey, we're taking our longboards and we're going to be, I was like, what are you guys talking about? Like, maybe this is messing around with me. Then it was actually true. Like, I went there, he's got his longboard out, and I think every Saturday, it was kind of cool. Manipur was really like in some other space at that time. It's not the Manipur you know today. And for me, it was not the Manipur I even imagined. For me, like, my Manipur reference is 86 to 89, all kinds of things happening. It's not like the place where you'll imagine longboards on the street in the night, you know. Like after 6:30, you go home quietly. Don't wear long jackets, don't wear shawls, go inside your house, like that kind of stuff. So seeing him on the street with this longboard, and then just ahead, these guys are coming. Him and Regan, you know Regan?
Yeah.
The drummer. And a couple of, I think Hiairen also was there. I've never met these guys. First time I'm meeting them. And they're setting up like drum kit and guitars and amps, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, what is this? It was so cool. It was really so cool. Like, I didn't know Manipur could be like that ever, you know. And then
Busking at the street.
yeah, like they were like, they plugged in, and there were some guys, some military guys with guns and all that was there on the other side. But then one group came. I'm getting distracted now. I have to shut this down. So there's some kids that came from Kerala, one group of students, and then they saw these guys playing, and they came. They started dancing. It was really fun and very, very unusual for me. Like, for me, it was like this some sense of liberation or whatever. Anyway, then after this thing stopped and they stopped playing and they had to pack up stuff, they got into cars, and then I had this pen drive with a song in it, because my intention was to show people, right, stuff, and see how they feel about it. So this guy was there, the other guys were doing other things, and then like he was sitting in the car, I don't know whose car it was. I was like, hey, you want to check this out? He's like, yeah. So I played it. The way he was responding, I was like, this guy, I'm going to like, he has to be involved at some point. I kind of told him that in a very vague way also, but the way he was responding, you know, the riff, and like he just seemed like he got what I was trying to do. Then he had some visual support, like what the video was. Maybe you can talk about that. Another interesting that happened, and I'll stop here, is like when I was going back to Bangalore, I went to the airport as usual. I was getting back, my computer was with me. I was super excited to do all this. I had recorded like 4 of those songs, you know, the ones that we haven't released, with Thoichanba singing, but very, very excited about this whole thing. It's finally come together. I've got it done. Like, it took many, many years, but it's happened now. And then my laptop is with me. I'm still checking out the mixes and all that. And then I see this guy and his friend in the airport again. Then I was like, oh, then we
Destiny
said
has
hi.
it.
Yeah. So then it was so weird.
It was
And
in
then
2007,
something like that.
Mm.
Yeah. So then I said, like, you want to hear the others? And he's like, yeah. Then I took out headphones. I had a splitter, and then we took out 2 headphones, and we were sitting in the airport and listening. He's like, cool, we should do this. He was going to Pune.
Yeah.
Then again, it took a long time, and finally, like, yeah, maybe you can share your thoughts.
Yeah, like please.
Starting with the
Gajendra.
video.
After that event in the Kanglapa, I was about to leave Pune, and I was so bored in the airport, and I was strolling around. And I was looking for someone who you know,
Yeah.
like that I
To
knew.
hang
You're
out
looking for someone to entertain you.
And I also had my guitar, right?
Yeah.
So, Gajendra, tell us about your experiences with meeting him and then like establishing all this
Yeah.
kind of.
So we met for a couple of times, and we shared all our thoughts into this, and we started visualizing things. What would be the actual possible final visual? And then, like after like so many years, he came back, and I also already here in Manipur.
Yeah, you came back to
So so we contact with each other, and then we started talking about taking up this project with the official video. For that, we discussed a lot with Danitin from Low Peninsula, and fortunately, I'm a friend with Bandana Wahangbam. She is very important. I have a knowledge about her that she's a student of Zen Dance Academy, and then she has lots of knowledge about this. And I discussed with this project, and I planned a meeting. We went to her house now, and then she was suggesting lots of ideas that we didn't know, because she is in the field, and she was also actually demonstrating in front of us also. The intention of her was very different from what we actually
What we had in mind was more simplistic.
Yeah.
It was just like to get the 2 dancers involved and the band playing, and I think she took it into another space where the whole performance with her, right?
much finer way. She refined it actually, and we did.
And like it's very successful also in showing all those kind
Yeah,
of
it did well. That
elements.
video was.
Yeah, and then you know, like at first when I show the video, like it's very creepy for us. Like
Yeah,
for
the location is fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
fantastic, right? Like for we, like especially I'm talking about me being a Meitei. Like for we Meitei, you know, when we see those kind of oracles performed by the Amai B, you know, we call it Ereimang Famba and stuff like that with the bell and stuff like that. You know, there is a pain in our spine. You know,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Whenever.
But that
listen
is
to
also
that.
the plan.
Yeah.
That was actually very well intended. Like I don't know whether I meant like that was intentional. Yeah, like we.
the eerie feeling.
Yeah.
Because it is like that, no?
Yeah.
For me, you know, like how I connect, I was not part of the shoot. I watched it after it was done. When you
Yes, he
sent
was
me.
in Bangalore at the time.
Yeah.
And just before releasing it, I showed.
This, so sometimes, you know, we get into this trying to connect the
Storyline and
the
all that.
storyline and what we're singing and what the movement is, you know, and then we get lost. Sometimes our artistic expression also, we can't go beyond a certain limit, you know, when we're like trying to execute that. Aduna, in Kwaktalam jail, what I found is like, you know, it's like you take a step back. Isai gi maron do na natabidaga magi ithin haitare adu do ina loba. Then visuals inamu amuk adugi essence to the amuga you add more spices. Then you know maybe it tastes better. Sometimes admana oina yengsu yaiga. When the first the idea I did like I didn't go through the lyrics. I was watching it as a
The first impression that
like the sound and visual. So for me, music and the lyrics, everything was sound. Then the visual was there, and me on the other side, capturing these 2 different elements, and then what I feel. So I want the adman la khyu the jail so well. So I did sometimes to guys na. We'll come back whenever we can. We'll come back and then make it both go together. But wherever we, I mean, adugi kitang freedom do this sana bayai. Sana bay yai so khalle and we should exercise this freedom. Like even Hairangko, I mean, there are so many good, bad, whatever kind of like reflections when we release the video, no. But some reflections were also like that, like whatever the music, the lyrics is, and the way the performance is happening, it's so off. But then if you look at it, there are places where it's so
very,
appropriate.
very connected.
Yeah. So asida di asing
Maybe
very connect tau
They're
ini.
not used to seeing it in that way, no.
In this we are like very well connected, and even in this there are places where people see it's not connected. So now I think we have to go beyond this.
Correct.
If you want to reach somewhere, we have to go beyond this
Exactly.
discussion and waste and like I youth ki over energy and a lot of time is wasted discussing not always in music, any art form. This is
Looking
a
for
huge
something
discussion.
to relate to understand, as opposed to taking a step and taking a step
And
back.
again that depends so much on the kind of knowledge you have, no?
Yeah.
The kind of knowledge you have gathered till now. So your reflection also is very dependent on that. So sometimes we might have to open and
Confine,
see, and maybe that's a new information, and go beyond.
Yeah.
I don't know. That
Exactly.
I see it like that. Sometimes it can be really bad. Maybe our video is really bad, you know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But if you don't let us do these bad videos or bad music, you know, then we will not reach the next step where we want to be. Maybe there are some certain things happening in our mind which we are not able to execute at this time. But it should not be stopped. And this applies to everything that's happening around.
And artists as a general, our task is to like
To explore.
do things that that are unexpected. We wouldn't want to do anything that people are expecting. Yeah, it will degenerate. You know,
Stay there, stagnant.
we will stuck. We won't grow. We won't progress.
One of the main ideas behind that video is like when we play live, which is something which we'll be kind of working on. It will be like that. It will be a performance. You know? It's not just music. This Ereimang is not going to be a band coming, plugging stuff, playing, and it's not like that. You know, that is going to be at the back. Like I told you, we are at the back. In the front, you will see the Vandana and Nandini and Purnima. You'll see them more than you see us.
Like the assemblance of all the
Yeah,
artists
yeah.
from different genres, I should
Yes.
say. Like, it's
And
very
they
nice.
are in the forefront. You know,
We
like
like
they are,
to highlight
yes.
with them.
Yeah.
Really
We are at the
nice.
back and we are just providing the music. The story and the important things are in the front.
The identity itself is them.
Like,
Yeah,
and I really like how Gajendra put up, like, like doing the unexpected things, right? It's really nice. And then like you like cooking all this music, and then you coming back to where it belongs, and then you ensembles all these artists together to form this kind of a project. Like, it's very fascinating to listen to this kind of story. Coming back to you, Santanu, you are the manager of Ereimang, right? So when you first released this song, how did public reacted to it? Not only from Manipur, but you use YouTube as a platform, right? So
Just to add, he is also the director of the Herangoi video.
Hirangoi, yeah.
The video.
Yeah, I want to complete this Cocktail Lamjan first.
Oh, okay.
And then we can come back to Hirangoi.
See, Cocktail Lamjar, I was not very much part of the release, the video release and all. We were, I listened to the premix and, but the release, I wasn't around. This whole thing of me being assigned this manager is very new actually, and this is something I've never done. It's just that the kind of things I do, and it just turned out okay.
You have done a
did
lot of
this.
things that no one ever does, bro.
Exactly.
So it's for me again. It's exciting. It's about creating something, and these guys are creating, and I'm very happy to be part of it. I'm very excited when it comes to creating something. It could be inside a space, it could be to do with music again, like, or I don't know, anything, event, create an event. So creating is something very exciting for me, and then I found this excitement in Ereimang as well. So I made sure I'm like, I know what's going on. We have always been in touch because I was very interested to know what's going on, what's the next step. Then it just, and we also became very good friends. So when he's around, then I try to be around and like be there for anything that is required here. And I'm like doing this whenever someone visits Manipur, because we are from here, and if someone comes with a good attitude, wants to know about Manipur, then we would try to give them the best experience that they can ever have. And somehow I enjoy doing it also. So Kwakta Lamjel, I was not really part of it, so I don't think I can talk much about how people reacted. I can just, like, I shared my personal reaction to it. But Hairangkoi is Hairangkoi, because the song is such. The song is something that a lot of people who understand folk or like traditional Manipuri music, they hold Hairangkoi very close to their heart. So when a song like this from Ereimang comes, obviously there will be a lot of reactions. Some people may say, okay, this is new, and maybe it's something that I was not expecting, and they may not like to listen to it again. But for some, yeah, which is okay. For some, it could be like they may just hate it, because they hold this song so close to their heart. They don't want any adulteration happening with it, which is again like, okay, we can't control this, and this should happen. This should happen. It's good that this is happening, and there are people who had no idea about this music, or they have heard about it, but they were not able to relate to it. Maybe the, say, new kids, they were not able to relate to it. But when it is presented in this form, then maybe they can relate to it now, and they are asking questions. Okay, what is this song? I've heard it. I've heard my mom singing or my grandmother singing, but I was never interested in it. And now suddenly they are interested to know more. Then they are asking for like lyrics.
Yeah.
Imagine this is in Meitei Lon, and Meitei kids are asking for lyrics. Again, So somewhere I feel like we are bridging that gap, and also
Even though it's not our intention to play that role,
yeah,
but we're ending up doing
yeah,
it.
we are,
And it's cool.
there will be reactions like this, and we are okay with it, and we also are more than willing to hear what is their problems or issues with it, so we can have this kind of conversations. We don't have to go to the other end and say, no, I'm just avoiding it. We can be together, and we are why are we doing this, Habiduzuka? Like simply basic one, like in this generation, like the generation where we are from, or the generation coming up, we are not doing this because we don't like it. We are doing it because we love it. We love it, and this is out of love. This is out of love, and we are just presenting it in our way, and I think that should be acceptable.
Because it is our way of showing our appreciation, and the best way we can do it is to be part of it, right? And to show it in a way that we relate to it. And I guess on that note, no, you're talking about people asking for lyrics. Somebody wrote to us because they wanted to use it in a presentation they were submitting in university.
Cool.
Like, so it works in different ways, you know, like it's all, and we don't like to talk too much about these kind of things, but it's happening, you know, these kind of things happen in a subtle way and behind the scenes, you know.
And I was like reading to the comments yesterday
Yeah.
before meeting you guys, and then like yeah, one of the most fascinating thing is that being a Meitei, I also do not know that Hairangkhoi is a story of life and death. And then normally before the Vaishnavite period, Hairangkhoi, the song Hairangkhoi was played during the traditional Meitei funerals also. And then like many people, many younger generations, especially these people belonging to Genji, they were writing comments like, you know, I want to play this song in my funerals also. Like, those kind of like it's like, oh my God, this is a huge success on its own like that. I was very fascinated about it.
On this now, I would like to add about the costume also. See, there's a lot of people who are interested to know how we develop this costume.
I also included.
Yeah. So costume Vibhas from Figai, he has worked on it, and we have been working with him. He's also a very good friend, and every time we try to do something, you know, something new, something exciting in terms of costume, he has always been there to help us. Then he also has his own like a pool of information about Manipur and textiles. So we have gone in depth. He has gone in depth actually. So we shared our music and our idea of how we want the video to come up, and the scenes, like this vast paddy field and this character who is not human as such, but also dwells within us, and kind of a spiritual entity. So he developed it, and he has taken elements which are very much from here, but then also because he has been exposed to so many international ideas, he would like to present in a global way. So that's how I see it. And we like, he has his artistic freedom to explore and come up with something new, and which was fantastic. He came up with something very fantastic, you know. We don't want to show the character, so we had this veil. The veil itself has a lot of story behind it. We had this thing which is like a square frame. So also we have taken cues from Thakan. So Thakan is like a shade. Akoina sum mi leitaba matamdo oigera natraga lai sangi mamang do orsu. It's a spiritual kenonina. Asingbedi yamna simple one yenga di shade ama khalline ba ko. Akoigi kenogi oina symbolical oiba shade ama khalline, which kind of divides ko mathaka makhaga, or like my sanctity do purity do man conserves to inina. So we have taken cues from there, and also this character, how we see it. It's like more is pure. Duga nasagi life and death ki kitang adugi oiba sibaga hingbaga gi marak ki kenose asidasu lehening ba. So ansai Thakan je akoina hoji ubada sum funeral gumba su uni lai gi kenom to, that spiritual connection is always there. Adu gumba khara pusalakpa. Then everything is white, like how we would like to be. Any spiritual ritual cannot over. Then what else? We have Purnima. Purnima is a fantastic, I don't know how to put it. My NSD dagi, and she practices contemporary dance, and also she has dagi from National School of Drama, magi studies.
Yes.
And her movements
Very fluid.
Yeah. So her movements are also, we didn't choreograph anything.
It is
We
all
didn't choreograph
improvised.
anything. We went to her house. We made her listen to the song, and then.
And you know, these things are it's intentional, no? We don't want to construct something. So even when people say like, oh, what's she doing? She's moving like whatever. So you can get into that space and get into that kind of conversation, or you can understand that we put this person there. They heard it, and this is their response to it. You know? Keeping all these things in their mind, her childhood, her studying theatre and learning many years of dancing, and you know, all this is coming together, and she's improvising, you know. And when you see it like that, it changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes.
And that place where we shot, it's like wakongda nakan wa ngakta leiraga manungda chik 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 lauraga, you know, you play this song and the way she moved and that whole energy
It's all
flowing
just
in and
pure
out.
response, no?
Yeah, so we tried to capture that and it came out well. This guy edited the whole video.
Yeah, like really nice. And then like one of the most fascinating thing about you releasing this two music video, me as a journalist, me as a media person, when we look at the perspective from the audience, we got to know that how Manipur in general, how the common people of Manipur is, whether they are more inclined to the art, and then the levels of their, I should say, art literacy. We can understand the levels of their art literacy after comments, both good and bad comments. After listening to all these good and bad comments, we got to we can have some scales on whether these people have the potential to grasp the idea behind this or not. And this is also another levels of experiments that we do as a journalist, and it's very fascinating also. And then coming back to you, Kamal, when we look at the I'm also very fascinated by this one, the artworks also. But when it comes to the logo of Ereimang music, a butterfly type or like a chandon type and stuff like that. Now, how do you create this, logo? Like, tell us about it. I'm very sure that there is a whole story behind that creation of the logo also.
So we've actually released a document. I mean, I put out a release document of the things that inspired that logo. Now, again, I don't like to define anything, but it's like inspired by moth, for example, and then there's a whole thing about why I'm fascinated by moths and why like moths are like incredible creatures. I mean, are they creatures or are they insects? I don't know, like whatever they are. So that moth and the connection was because I feel like it's relevant, and the logo was designed based on the body of a moth. The chandon in the middle, yeah, it is. It's not, but it is also. But it's not really about the chandon. That's not the focus. It's the body of the moth, right? But then if it's just the body also, it makes no sense. And now the chandon is there, yes, but it's not about chandon. It's about that knowledge and wisdom. And when we are talking about nature and animism and connection with nature and all this kind of stuff, right? That is I think the significance of that is intelligence and wisdom and knowledge. That's what it's representing.
Really nice.
And I think if you actually look at the chandon also, take away the religion part of it. Take away the religion, take away whether the Hinduism or not Hinduism or what, it doesn't matter, right? Right now it is there. It is being used. You can look at it from a point of religion and culture, or you can look at what it signifies, like
Purity.
you use bamboo. You can talk about how bamboo is something, or you can look at the benefits of bamboo and then just focus on that, Why is bamboo more beneficial than, say, cutting down a tree or whatever? I guess it's like, what does that thing signify as opposed to who is wearing it and who is not wearing it? Like that.
Right, relatable. Like I really want to talk more about it, but then this show has a limited time. Lastly, I would like to know, from anyone can answer this. Lastly, I would like to know about the future plans that you hold for Ereimang project.
The future plans of Ereimang. I think we are working on something now, like getting the set. Like we are getting prepared to be able to perform live. So I'm here, like I've been here for a long time now. I came on the 1st of September and I'm leaving only on the 22nd. And we've been working very hard. Like this guy is like the pillar of all that. And rehearsing, getting people involved, involving a lot of young people, and deliberately. Yeah, so we are kind of in a good place now, and we'll develop this set that we can hopefully do a 1-hour performance, including all these people that we spoke about. I want to mention Kamlesh, so there is Thochanba who sings. There's Albert who plays drums. He's somebody we've discovered through Kajendra. And Kamlesh, who's actually also the husband of Purnima.
Okay.
Yeah, he's playing bass with us. That's the group, and we are focusing on getting this set together. Vandana will be involved, maybe even Nandini, I'm not sure, but Surjit is actually going to get on board, huh? Oh, of course, how can we not talk about her?
The singer.
Yeah. So she is like this mysterious person that I found one day. I heard some song, got in touch with her, and then now I think it's come to a point where like without her it's not possible to have Ereimang anymore. You know, like yeah, she's like the center figure of this. It's become like that. No intention of making it like that, but that's what no. This band is evolving, and we like to keep it like that, like explore and evolve, and there are no constructs that we're trying to build for us. Nothing is an obstacle. Like everything is open for exploration and continue this journey like that. Yeah, so I think now we've set up the band. Like Nanthoibi is right in the front. She's like the most prominent figure. She's actually the representation of this idea of Ereimang right now, in a physical form, no? Like, and so she's turning into that person. She's eventually going to be the representation of this whole idea. Then we have the people I mentioned who are part of the band, which is at the back. We'll do what we have to do to get this performance going. That's the plan, and for now, we're kind of working on getting that organized.
Thank you so much. And then, like, lastly, I wish you guys all the very best for the future endeavor. And then I hope to see, beautiful videos. I hope to see beautiful music. I hope to see lots of experiment in your field. And I wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having us.
And thank you for allowing us to have you people. It's an honor.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Masiga loirna Impact TV na paringna dokchariba Manipur Rockers thora matang asad loijari matang episode ta anauba band na maga loirna Manipur Rockers miyam gidamak ta hanjar kige Impact TV bo mijing ta review.